welcome to another episode of The Man Space. Coach Marcin and I take great pleasure and joy in featuring different men from different walks of life as we explore their journey, their emotional and financial resiliency, and how their journey has shaped them, and how those lessons learned can help others find their footing and live their prosperity. Because we live in a world where all over the world, boys are being raised, being told, don't cry, don't feel anything, don't show emotion, don't talk about emotion. So we are raising boys to shut that side of them off, even though we are feeling beings who happen to think and act. We are guiding young boys to shut down that human aspect of themselves. And then when they grow up, in the workplace, we are telling them they're not sensitive enough. In the marriages and homes, we are saying, hey, you don't show me that you care. Why don't you care? Why aren't you demonstrating any feelings? How can you turn it on after you've been conditioned for years to turn it off? And so how do we break the cycle? And how do we give the opportunity for men and boys to transform the trajectory of their own lives? And as women, as mothers and women in the community and co-workers in the workspace, how do we co-create that breaking of the cycle and a better future? And that is the fascinating part of this Man Space. So Marcin, take it away with our guest today.
Thank you, Dr. Cass. Welcome, everyone. My name is Marcin Łapczyński, and I have a pleasure of having our special guest, Jose Pereira. Jose Pereira is a former executive of CITGO company, and Jose is also a leadership, resilient coach, motivational speaker, author, and also he helps different communities and is very bilingual. Welcome, Jose.
Thank you very much, Martin and Dr. Castro, for having me. This is the second time I'm being with you, Martin, long time ago, but very pleased to be here.
Yes, so I had a pleasure meeting Jose a couple months ago through social media, and when we talked, introduced each other, Jose has a very powerful story of his journey, what he went through as an CITGO executive. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring him on and for us to share this story, because what I wanted to know is how, going from a very high position, being an executive, how did you become a resilient coach?
Well, because I went through a situation that unexpected for me. I was at that moment in the pinnacle of my career, thinking to get retired, and it came something that blew my mind. I never expected that to happen. I went to a business trip to Venezuela. I was called to go to that business trip, that was November 2017, and I became an international hostage. There was having issues between the U.S. and Venezuela, and we got caught in the middle of the political tension, became the political punch, and the negotiation lasted 5 years. So when I came back in October 2022, 15 months ago, I really was figuring out if I wanted to come back to the corporate world. That to tell you the truth, I didn't feel that I belonged there. And I began to work with these communities that today I'm working, and I found that I wanted to become a coach to help people. So that's the way I came to be a coach.
That is such a heartbreaking story, but it also shows your resiliency and your courage to pivot to do what spoke to that inner person Coach Jose Pereira is. What gave you the courage to make that shift? Because so many people put their identity in the job they used to have. And when you've been at that top level in a petroleum industry, right? You're at the pinnacle of the world. What gave you that courage to take that chance and do something completely different?
Well, today I can understand the process better because I really was thinking to in some way go in that direction. Because when that situation happened to me, as I said, CITGO Petroleum is a company that people maybe doesn't know, but it belongs to the Venezuelan oil company. I'm Venezuelan born, and the situation in Venezuela was going bad, and today is even worse. So I didn't feel comfortable even being in the pinnacle. I was ready to get retired. I was having 35 years a career at that time. So I was really thinking to become an oil and gas consultant. That was my first thought. Become a consultant. If you talk with my friends and even with my wife, I always wanted to be a consultant. Well, I became a coach. But something that really for me is more meaningful, because I discovered that during my journey, I found that really I became a survivor. I became a resilience guy. This is something I can teach. And because I had those leadership skills, that's how I came to be a leadership and resilience coach, because this is something so important in today's world. People don't find their path to become great leaders. So this is something that I want. I always are talking and helping people how they can find their path. That's how I became to be a coach.
That is so beautiful, and I love it because being in top executive in such a powerful company, being almost retired and trying to hey, thinking about becoming that consultant of the company and so on. But would you say the experience that has happened 2017 has really shifted your mindset, your focus, of becoming that coach, where you had to go through it, you had to experience it in order to become who you are today?
Oh, definitely. Everybody in the life goes for situation that make your breaking point. Is the way you decided to overcome it and the way you decided to transcend it. So in my case, I really found like a call, because as I said, I begin to support. I today I'm a strong advocate for the hostage community here in the US. And when I begin to coach the families of the people that are having hostage, their people that still are hostage, I begin to coach those families, and I begin to see that I was giving a lot of hope, faith, and comfort to them. I said, hey, Jose, this is what you want to do. This is like a calling. So I decided to craft that and become a coach. And I feel comfortable doing it. I feel that I'm doing something that my life put me in the path to do it.
Mm-hmm. As I'm hearing you speak, Coach Jose, what is coming up for me is there is such a strong spiritual energy component to what you're doing, right? Because this is not something you're doing for money. You're truly doing this to help transform lives, give people hope, and show them a way forward when they think their world is coming crashing down. So that truly is a gift. So first, let me tell you, thank you. We're so grateful for what you do, because you have taken one of the most awful human experiences and you flipped it on its head to give to others. And that by itself is a gift to the world, right? So thank you. Thank you so much for that. As you continue down this path, what are some of the elements in terms of mindset and psychology are people struggling with that prevents them from seeking that resiliency? And how are you able to coach them through it?
Because everything is in the mind. Everything is in the mind. Everything is with a cluster where you see the things. Everything is the way you decide to overcome things. Because when you're going to any situation, and this can be any situation, it can be in your business or in your life. You come to the situation, and then you have that decision point. How you want to take your decision. If you want to go in the negative way or you want to go in the positive way. Sometimes I have found people that say me, oh, you're a positive guy. I'm not that guy. I was not raised that way. This is not the way I feel. I cannot do that. There are a lot of setbacks in the people. They don't believe that they can do it. Anybody can change their mindset, because this is something that can be trained. you can retrain your brain. By the way, I have been in this path, knowing wonderful people. I have a close friend today. She's a neuroscientific. She lives in Mexico City, and she's an expert in the brain. And she has told me that a lot of studies that today have been done, you can retrain your brain, but you have to have the intention. Everything is here. So this is the first thing I teach the person, how they have to retrain their brain, their thoughts. And I'm a clear example of that. How I went through that situation, how I overcame it, and anything in your life you can survive it, but it's here. Everything is here.
Thank you for that, Jose. So what I'm hearing from you is it all depends on the situation that we are in, right? And it comes a decision point where we have to make a decision whether we're going to become a victim or we're going to become a victorious.
Correct.
And what have you seen from the individuals that you have worked with? What are some of their struggles, making that decision point? Why do you think they are unable to do it on their own, to change the way they think, to improve their situations? Why do they need coaches?
Because people begin business or are in front of business, but they don't feel comfortable. There is something very key in all these things, communication, for example. One of the biggest problems that I have found in any business is communication. People don't know how to communicate with their peers, with their employees. So there are a lot of problems in the communication. This is one of the things that I tackle. Being a model, knowing that even that you have some weakness, you have your strengthness. Surround with good people. So people sometimes don't believe that they can really be a good leader, and they have that force. What I help them is to discover that inner force, discover that unbreakable spirit that they really can become great leaders. Today I have a good example. I'm coaching a group here in Houston. I live in Houston, and I have almost 1 year working with them. And all of them has become. There is one of the guys that I'm coaching. He has a set of stores, and he was recently designed was one of the best stores of here in Houston. So he has become successful. So he's really happy with how he has changed his mindset. Now he's more positive. Now he is having better communication with their employee. So there are simple things that sometimes you don't see them, but they are simple. They are not complicated things that you can, if you do it, you can improve your business.
That is such a critical point you're making, Coach Jose, because simple things that we are not aware of, we can't fix because we don't see it, right?
Because you have to be focused. When you are focused, you can see, you have things in front of you and you don't see them.
Absolutely. And the other part is when I am taught not to feel, I don't feel about myself too. It's not just other people. And when I don't feel about me and I have shut my feelings about me, then I can't see the feelings and the feelings related impacts inside of me. And you and I talked a couple of days ago about the cultural implications.
Oh, yeah.
In so much of the world's society where masculinity is wrapped in not feeling, not showing feeling. And therefore, men struggle harder. And the breakdown and the fallout is greater because it's questioning and threatening their very masculinity. What advice do you have for men out there in terms of how to start processing this separate and apart as a human element that is nothing to do with their masculinity?
That's a very important question. I'm very glad that you brought it because I'm very excited that I'm in some conversation with somebody that lives here in Texas, that by the way, he's a financial planner, a family financial planner, but he has like 40 years in the market, but he wants to begin to work with the Hispanic community. So he contacted me to begin to partner with him to begin to reach the Hispanic community. One of the big challenge that the Hispanic community has, and many communities, but is that people don't know how to handle traumas, don't know how to handle situations, because it's a cultural behavior that we are macho men, and being macho, we don't talk about this. So we swallow it. So this is one of the big challenges. People don't tend to talk about this. And people think that because I don't talk about this, that doesn't exist. So you have it there. And by the way, that let me tell you, the brain is something so remarkable that the brain forgets. So it's a mechanism of protection. So you put in your backside and you forget, but you have things there. That is there. So there is going to be a challenge talking with this community, but I'm excited. I'm excited because we're going to begin to talk with several communities. We're going to begin to do some summits to talking with them and helping them to organize their finances, because these are another of the big issues that the Hispanic community has. They don't know to handle money. They don't know how to handle the physical, the mental, and the financial health. So, yeah, this is a real challenge, but I'm happy. Then one thing that, as we were talking the other day, the young people today are more open to talk about these things. I see it because I have my two sons. They're married, and I see how they handle with their wife, and today are more open to talk about this. So there are room to improve a lot in this area, but yeah, the people don't try to don't take care of them. So how they can take care of the other if they don't take care of them? It's a challenge, but we're in that path.
No, I'm glad you brought this up because trauma, there's so many different types of traumas that men out there in a society deal with, and why we have such a high suicide rate in United States, and not only, very high, and no one really talks about it. How many executives we have that they go under enormous stress because they have so many goals that they have to meet, whether it's investors and so on, and they do have traumas, and sometimes they don't even recognize, right, the anxiety, the depression that they're going through. And the way the society teaches, especially men, is to be tough, right, not to shed a tear and just be resilient. But inside, emotionally, we are self-destructing.
Correct.
So, Jose, what would you tell someone that the men right now that are listening to our podcast, in regards to, hey, are you overwhelmed? Are you stressful? What are some of the resources out there, who they can contact, where they can feel heard, where they can feel that they are in a safe space?
You have to seek for help. You have to look for coaching. Coaching and mentorship is important. Get connected to the people that love you, because this is one of the things that people tend to navigate this alone. Things have not to be navigated alone. You have a circle of people that love you. Can be anybody, even can be a pet. You have a small dog that you love your dog. You need to get surrounded with the people that love you. Your dad, your mom, your wife, your husband, your friend, your fiance. And if you don't have nobody, go to the church. Get connected with the people that love you and look for help. People don't talk about this. Don't look for help. If you need some mental health, look for therapy. Marcin, after I came back, I have a therapy every Thursday. Every Thursday, I have my therapist. The other day, I was talking with her, and she told me, Jose, I feel that you're better. We can do this on a monthly basis. I said, no, I want to see you every Thursday, because I feel very comfortable, because now I can talk about this. I can manifest. It's part of my healing process. So you have to recognize that you have things going in your life. So don't try to bury them. put it out. This is the way you can get help.
That is so brilliantly said, Jose. I love that you have the ability to be direct and just say it the way it is, because
It's what it
people
is.
need to hear it. It is what it is, right? And we forget even Michael Jordan had a coach. Even Tiger Woods has a coach, right? So having a coach is to watch your blind spots and continually improve you and keep you in the game. And we all need coaches, and the coaches can be peer coaches. And I love the fact that you brought in socialization. The socialization aspects gives us a sense of belonging, and therefore takes away the isolation. And it's the isolation that drives people to suicide. When you have a community to surround yourself with, and you have a sense of belonging, then you have people to go to, and you are not alone. As we think about your services and how you are helping create a sense of belonging for communities and helping change mindsets and giving them resiliency, how can people reach you? And what are some of the services they can tap into by working with you?
Well, I have a webpage. Very easy. It's joseconnect.com. Jose Connect. You go Jose Connect, you will find all my services. I'm very active in LinkedIn. I have on my LinkedIn where I do audio rooms where I talk about this. I have a newsletter that is called Building Resilience, where I talk. I always are combining leadership with resilience because this is my thing. I believe that this is the way I can help people that have struggles in their business and in their life. And the way they can connect me is there. I'm very open. They can schedule a 30-minute free call. We can have a conversation and discuss about it. The way I do this, my program is called Life Pills for a Survivor Guide. And this is a program that I created based on the experience, my very unique and personal experience I went through. So I can talk the talk because I walk the walk. So that's the way I crafted my coaching program.
Thank you, Jose, very much for sharing your inspirational story, your resilience, how you have become, that leadership, the resilient coach based on your journey, based on your experience. And what do you do now? How you help inspire, empower communities, and not only men and women, but you know what? You are giving them hope. And you are creating this space, the community where, hey, you show them that you are not alone, right? If you are stuck, if you have hit the rock bottom, surround yourself, coaches, mentors, therapists, reach out. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's plenty of resources out there. Your life matters. Your life matters. You are very important. Our society, our community, our world needs you. You are very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jose. As we bring to the close, any nugget of wisdom you have for people so that they remember that as they watch this, one thing they can take away into their lives every day.
Any situation in life, you can survive and overcome it and thrive. But everything is in your mind. You have to have the disposition to do it. It's a very personal choice, but do it. Just do it. I'm doing an advertisement here. Just do it.
I love how succinct you were, because ultimately what we believe and the power of the mind in our belief is what's going to drive us. And so that is a wonderful note to bring this conversation to an end. Thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom, and for our audience out there. As Coach Marston just beautifully summarized, and as Coach Jose talked to us today, make sure you are in a community that gives you a sense of belonging, and know that mind over matter. Your belief system and how you train your mind can influence every aspect of your life. So be careful what you feed your mind. Careful who you surround yourself with, who's influencing your mind, and then use your mind to resiliently overcome and reach out to coaches, reach out to therapists, reach out to people who love you, and together find a solution, because ultimately we all need each other. And that is ultimately what the man space is trying to do. We're creating a space for men so that men have a place to go, and women who are supportive can join that space so that we can all be there for each other.